This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Rajni Jain on behalf of agricultureinformation.com. I'd like to welcome you all to this online meeting. Please take a moment to review the guidelines for this online meeting posted in the chat window. I now request the moderator, Mr. Lakshmipati, to introduce the speaker and start the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rajini. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Lakshmipati and I'll be moderating this meeting. Agricultureinformation.com likes to welcome to this meeting Mr. Nitin Kumar Goudar, the founder and CEO of Darvi Group, Hubballi, Karnataka. Mr. Nitin Kumar Goudar will be speaking on the topic Profitable Teakwood Farming. I now request the speaker to begin.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Myself Nitin Kumar. Basically, today's topic is teak, and we'll cover all the concept like the history and the present condition with the future demand as well as the cultivation package of practice. First, we begin with the history. As all we know that teak has been from ancient times. The only purpose of the teak trade was the durability. It was an excellent timber in terms of durability, in terms of grain pattern. The size of the timber was very good, and that was the main reason it was so popular in from the ancient time. And till now, teak has its own place in its market value. In terms of timber, teak is one of the most commercial valuable timber for Indian market. For a global market, there are several timbers as of now, but certainly teak plays a very important role in the global market too. And the main concept for teak we have to focus is the green ban. Recently in Karnataka state, the policy has been started like a green ban. Green ban is a. I'll just explain what is green ban. Green ban is a concept where forest officers are not allowed to harvest any standing log or any standing tree. Okay, we have to collect dead and decay material from the forest, and the if you at all we want to harvest any timber or a teak, we have to depend on the private lands or a farmlands. Oh, this is where we come into the picture, like any farmers or any investors who are focusing on the cultivation of the tea should know this concept very thoroughly, because this is the where we can demand more price for our production. Okay, so it is just introduction, like why teak is so demand in current condition, and we'll go with the stats on later part. Now, what is the main reasons for teak? The reason teak is so famous in Karnataka or in Andhra or Tamil Nadu or southern parts, basically because the production. Southern India has a huge production compared to the northern parts, and in the southern parts like Kerala, Karnataka is the highest producing states of the tea food, and some parts of Goa and some parts of Maharashtra also we can see the national distribution. As per plantation wise, Madhya Pradesh and UP have been taking up very well compared to the Karnataka. Earlier, Karnataka was one of the highest tea producing states in terms of private lands. Now, Madhya Pradesh is overtaking those plants in number of areas, not with the yield, just area wise, 20,000 hectares kind of thing. So we are now promoting the tea once again back to the Karnataka, and I'll go to the stats also on that. But first, world stats, if you are focusing, that is, we have almost 26 million hectares of tea production. 26 million hectares of tea production. This includes forest and private lands. In that, private is just about 9 million hectares. Rest all is forest land, which is going to be banned soon, I believe, because of the green ban. And main part will be like types of tea. Every country has a different teak and a different value of their teak. So there are few major teaks in the world. That is, one is Indian teak, second comes up Thailand, Indonesia, African, and Ghana teak. Okay, Ghana is the most expensive teak considered all the five, and it is having a high resistance compared to Indian teak with termite attack, and it also has a high durability and a supreme quality wood. Ghana teak is considered as a supreme quality wood compared to the Indian teak. and it has the rotation period of 70 years. From planting day from the one to harvest, it takes 70 years, 70, and that's the reason it has a high value and long waiting period. Now, when we focus on the cultivation part, before cultivation, we have to understand the things what we are cultivating. Tea basically is called as Tectona grandis. Tectona grandis is one of the allelopathic effect carrying species out of few. Some are Nilgiri, some are other parts like apple bear and all. They also have some content, but highest we can see is Nilgiris and Tectona grandis, that is teak, which has highest allelopathic effect. That is the one of the advantage and disadvantage for the both the people. For instance, when you are considering as the advantage will be durability. Due to the content of Tectona, it can resist with the many pests and disease. But the same content kills the other plants which are growing adjacent to it. Okay, in the teak plantation, if you are able to witness or if you are focusing on some points, you cannot see the any grass also growing properly there. Okay, because the Tectona content carries the monopoly in the plantations. The nature of the Tectona content itself is a monopoly. So we have to make sure if you are taking up a plantation, it should be a clear patch, not with the integrated patch. Okay. And coming to the selection of the seeds, when you are cultivation practice, first comes the seed selection. Seed should be collected from the known species or a known tree or a known area, that is called a provenance. Provenance plays a very important role. The type of the plant or growth or vigorous of the plant will be decided from the selected seed or a mother plant. To identify mother plant, there is a thumb rule called plus tree. Plus tree is out of 100 trees, we have to mark 5 best trees with respect to the growth, with respect to the leaf size, color, density, and the branching and canopy. We have to consider all 5 points and make sure 5 plants are selected out of 100 for the seed collection. Out of 5 trees, which we call it as chuck trees, those 5 trees will be naming as a chuck trees. On them, we continuously monitor for the next 3 to 5 years with resistance of the disease. How many disease they are able to get, or how many disease they are able to resist. Or after this 5 years, we consider one tree out of those superior tree will be given as a plus tree. Plus tree is the phenotypically, this is known as a phenotypical superior tree which has a resistance towards the pest and disease. Okay, this plus durability, more resistance tree is good for the seed collection or a propagation of the nursery or a supply of seedlings. Another method will be direct of stump cuttings. Stump cuttings is a basically already existing wild plants. We need to get them, cut 10 centimeters of stem and plant it and make a new seedling and to just apply to the customer or a farmers. That is called a stump cutting. The third type of seedlings comes as a tissue culture teak. Tissue culture teak is widely accepted and it has
Participants, are you all able to hear him?
No, we are not able to hear.
Mr. Nitin Kumar, you have lost your audio.
No, not able to hear.
Yes, yes. Mr. Nitin Kumar, are you hearing me? Mr. Nitin Kumar. He is continuing to talk, but he doesn't know that we have lost his audio. Mr. Nitin Kumar. Organizer.
Mr. Nitin, we are not able to hear you.
He is not able to hear us. I've been telling that for the past several
Yeah.
minutes.
There seems to be some internet issue at his end. Voice was breaking. I will check
Okay.
it 1 second. Give me just a few seconds.
Mr. Nitin Kumar. Participants, give us a few moments. The organizers are in trying to contact the speaker.
If you can make him leave probably, and then he might rejoin back, then he will be able to.
That's what the organizers are going to tell him. He's not able to hear us. Mr. Nitin.
You can probably make an action and show him.
No, organizers are calling. No, organizers are trying to contact you or
Yeah.
still is not able to make it.
He must be. He can't see
No,
us
he's not
also.
able to see you, I think so. He's not even able to see you. Mr. Nitin Kumar.
Does he know you?
No, our
Mr.
organizers.
Lakshmipati, Mr. Lakshmipati, he's disconnecting the call. I think he's under the.
He's continuing to talk.
He is gone now. No, we can't see him now.
Yeah. He'll log in again, looks like.
Participants, the speaker is trying to log in back.
Hello. Hello.
Mr. Nitin, are you in?
Yeah. I'm able to hear you, sir. Now.
Okay, we have lost your audio 5 minutes back.
Okay.
At least
Okay.
5 minutes you were talking without us listening to you.
No, I could not hear anything. I mean, from your end, so I thought you are just listening it.
No.
So
We were trying to tell you. Somebody, even one participant was showing some in action also that he is not able to hear you. You could not
yeah, that is
see.
the one. Yeah, sure, sir. Now I'll just
Now you can
continue with the
recall what.
cultivation part, right?
Yeah, 3 minutes back, whatever you had spoken, you can repeat.
Yeah, that is from cultivation part. We'll start it, sir. No problem.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, let's begin with the cultivation part of the tea. That is, first comes with the selection of the seeds or a seedling. As I told you, seed selection is a very important role for any plantation because it plays a very important role for the next 15 to 20 years for every farmer or any investor. So collection of the seeds will be carried in a three different major key points. For instance, first should be we have to make sure the provenance should be selected. Provenance is the place of the seeds. For instance, Kerala Marur forest is one of the best, or another is Karnataka and Nilambur, and these all places where we can collect the seeds. Provenance decides the varieties and the species and the originality of the seeds. And selection of the seeds will be in the different criteria. First, we will go with the plus tree. Plus tree is the one of the major important tree where we collect the seed, and selection of the plus tree is also a small. I'll just go through the selection of the plus tree. In any plantation, we have to mark 5 healthy grown plants or 5 healthy grown trees which has the age about 25 to 30 years old. The age of the tree should be 25 to 30 years, and out of 100 they should be selected. Only 5 trees will be called as a chuck trees. Out of these 5 trees, we monitor them for next 5 to 6 years for the disease resistance, growth, leaf size, leaf fall, biomass development, and girth formation. After calculating these or after studying these pattern, we come up with a conclusion called as a one is known as plus tree. Out of 5, we give one tree as a plus tree. That plus tree is known as the seed source. From the particular tree, we have to collect all the seeds and
This conference will now be recorded.
Mr. Nitin, please put on your mic. Yeah, you can
yeah, sir.
continue. Yeah, you can continue.
Uh, one is seed selection. Seed selection is done from the plus tree, and next comes the uh, tissue culture plants. Tissue culture plants are such a plants we raise through a bud or a leaf tissues, and we develop it in a laboratory, and we place it in the hardening for 7 months. Once it is hardened, and we can distribute them for the farmers. These are generally fast growing and 100% clone plants. It carries a single gene from the mother so that it replicates as much as same as its own mother in terms of growth, in terms of seed density, in terms of girth and disease resistance. So tissue culture is considered one of the most advanced plants in the tea plantations. And another one is called stump cuttings. Stump cuttings is basically of a clone type plantations where we collect roots of the trees from the wildlings or a forest or any plantation, and we multiply them in our nurseries and distribute them. But first grade seedlings will be always tissue culture. Second grade seedlings will be from the stump cutting. Third grade we consider as the seed source. Now comes the site selection. As I told, site selection is very important for any timber.
Come on the
For
camera. Mr. Nitin, can you come on the camera?
Yeah, sir. But I'm getting in between some calls. That is the problem. I just turned off.
No,
Hello.
we are, from our participant side, there will not be any calls unless I recruit them.
No, from my end.
Oh, from your side, if you are coming on the camera, you are getting some calls, is it?
In between it is getting, sir.
Okay. Well, proceed, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Site selection, as I told, site selection plays a very important role for any plantation. Before planting any trees, we have to ensure the site is free from waterlogging. We have to calculate for the next 15 years. What if there is a complete flood irrigation or floods from the high rains? The area should not be waterlogged. If at all happens in the for 10 or 12 years period, then whole plantation will be considered a completely failure. That is the reason we call it as a site selection. Site selection should be always on the higher end or higher altitude to avoid these all flood problems or avoid all the waterlogging conditions for upcoming problems in the future. And we have to ensure the soil is healthy in the site conditions, and profile of the soil should be taken in the account before the planting any timber, not just a teak. It matters very much for any timber for a long run, since we don't give them irrigations or we don't give more manure compared to the conventional farming when it comes to timber. So we recommend soil examination should be in the first preference. Then comes the types of soil and its adaptability. Teak is well known for its adaptability, as many people know that teak can adapt from ranging from high rainfall to complete roll rainfall, but the growth of the tree or biomass of the tree will change over the soil. But one of the best soils we recommend is red soil and the sandy soils. Apart from that, you can cultivate in the black cotton soil, black loam soil, clay soils too. But the pH should range from 6.5 to 7.5 to 7.8. In this pH, the tree growth is seen optimum. Rest more than 7.5 or 7.9 is shown there is a hindrance of the growth with respect to the teak. Water requirement. As we all know, every plant requires a good water for its growth and to maintain the cellulose and tissues content. For a high optimum content or a high photosynthesis activity, water plays a very important role for any tissues or any plant. Now, when we go with the plantation, many nurseries or many people have been misguided farmers or investors, saying that teak requires very low water for its growth. They can adapt in complete dry lands, zero water requirement, and other stuff, and they sell the seedlings, and people are facing a lot of problems after that. One of the problem with the water is, if the water requirement of the tree the water requirement of the tree going to be increased over the period, and we have to calculate same water requirement with respect to its age. In the beginning, we can give the water per plant per day 1 liter. After 1 year, it requires at least of 4 liters per day. Henceforth, it multiplies like 4 liters, 8 liters, 16 liters, 20 liters. Whatever multiplies or whatever the growth is achieved in those period definitely will be helpful. But after 12 years or after 15 years, make sure you don't supply any water. First 15 years, we have to supply good water to get a good girth of the timber. After that, we have to make sure there is a development of hardwood. Hardwood is basically developed when the tree goes under the stress conditions. But before entering into stress condition, we have to ensure the girth of the tree should be at least of 120 centimeter. Then we have to stop the water so that we get best optimum hardwood in the plantations. Now comes the disease part. Disease and pest. These are the one of the major concern for any plantation or any investors for large scale plantation, because disease such as teak rusting and all takes a lot of time to cure them in the plantations, because they spread very epidemically, and we hardly can control if there is a single rusting kind of thing in one tree. Within 2 months, you can see 100 acres of plantation will be converted with the same disease. It's basically called soil-borne disease. Okay, it can be spread through the irrigation. It can be spread through the grasses or the weeds which are grown below the trees. So keeping plantation clean and giving them fungicides every once in a year matters a lot, or a good condition of good health of the plantation will be managed by the fungicides. And pest, when we talk about pest, there will be two kinds of major pest. One is teak defoliator. Teak defoliator feeds on the leaf of the tree, completely feed on the leaf, and there will be no leaf. If there is no leaf in the tree, it is 100% sure that there is no photosynthesis activity, or there is no growth of the tree. Okay, the size of the tree and the density of the leaf will decide the growth of the trees. So we have to ensure the trees which has a good leaf or a healthy leaf are the one which grows very fast or very healthy. So teak defoliator and tea crusting is one of the major threat in the plantation. We have to monitor them, and we have to give the required precautions in the plantation, such as chlorophorifers and other stuff. We can spray them to cure the trees. And major complaints from the farmers will be intercropping. We can't do any intercropping in the teak. Yeah, we should not do any intercropping in the teak when it comes with a plantation of more than 5 years. Less than 5 years of plantation, we can cultivate such as turmeric, such as ginger. Anything which grows below the soil can be cultivated. Anything which grows above the soil can't be cultivated till 5 years. After 5th year, we can't grow anything because soil will be completely affected with the tectonic content, that is called allelopathic effect, which makes soil so hard there will be no penetration of new roots, and anything which is growing below the teak will be soon or later going to die with that effect. Spacing. Major doubts or major mistakes are made in the spacing itself. Why it happens is, one thing is lack of research in proper conditions and the nursery fellows. To sell more seedling, people are saying that tea can be cultivated 10 by 10, 5 by 5, 6 by 6 feet. Okay, with 5 by 5, they are planting almost 900 plants per acre, or 10 by 10, they are planting 500 plants per acre, which will never going to harvest them for next 20-25 years. Because if the spacing is so close, these trees will grow very tall, but they can't take any size. Okay, timber is completely dependent on the girth of the timber, not on the height of the tree. So any farmer who is taking this timber, please ensure that you are giving enough space, that is at least of 20 feet by 20 feet. I mean, per acre, we have to plant hardly about 120 plants. That is the maximum you can plant to get an optimum results. If you are still want to increase your plants in the number of density, maximum you can go with the 18 by 18, that is 150 plants per acre, and you can still achieve some good growth or girth in these 18 by 18 or 20 by 20. Less than that will be a crime for a tree or any farmer, because they will never able to attain 120 centimeter if they are grown in the 10 by 10. Even people recommend like tissue culture can be grown in 10 by 10. That's also false statement. That is completely bluffing or a gamble which is happening in the agriculture segment. Even if it is a tissue culture teak, it requires good space, good canopies, then the tree is able to get that good amount of photosynthesis, and it will generate a wood biomass. And comes with the harvesting age. What will be the harvesting age for any tree or any teak? It depends on the seeds, or else depends on the provenance, I mean area. First, we'll go with the basic thing. Any teak can be harvested within the 30 years. Any teak can be harvested within the 30 years. If it is taken from the plus tree, definitely we can harvest within the 25 years. I mean, we can reduce 5 years at least if it is a good plus tree. And the same case happens with the stump cutting. If it is the seedlings are propagated from the stump cuttings, definitely we can harvest within 25 years with a good spacing and good water. And coming to the tissue culture teak at least requires of 15 to 20 years to harvest. And people claim you can harvest in 10 years or 8 years. That's again a false statement. We cannot harvest teak with less than 15 years. It always requires at least of 15 years if it is a tissue culture teak. If it is not non-tissue culture, it requires at least of 25 years. And as I told, density of 100 plants is recommended. And at the age of 15 or at the age of 18, we can expect at least of 30 CFT per plant. 30 CFT per plant is easily you can expect, and per CFT right now the price is almost about 5,000 rupees. And in this concept, you can basic is the 5,000 rupees, and the price goes up to per CFT will be somewhere around 9,000 rupees on the farmer site itself. In the market, the price starts from 12,000 to 22,000 rupees for the furniture or a converted products. Now, future and the present. As I told, the requirement of the wood is somewhere around 30 million CFT per annum globally, and the production is just about 4 million CFT per annum. Okay, there is a huge demand and supply gap. This is the reason where the price of the teak every year is increasing by 7 to 8%. Every year in India itself, the globally it is increasing by 13 to 14% per annum. And this is where farmers will get more opportunity to invest in the teak plantations. But the only problem will be the spacing. You have to maintain the spacing, and you have to ensure that the next 15 years, next 20 years, this site will be locked for a teak. Anything below that, if you are expecting like 10 years, within 10 years I'm going to harvest teak, within 10 years I'm going to do this or that, nothing can be done if it is planted with a teak. So make sure if you are planting a teak in your site, it should be locked for 15 years at least to get some returns or some profit. And conclusion part, what we can say is there is a concept called tree banking, which has Kerala has started recently. 1 year before, they have started a tree banking concept. Tree banking concept is a concept where you can take a loan with your plantations. For example, if you have 1,000 teak, and per teak you are able to get 5 to 10,000 rupees as a loan with respect to 10,000 trees or 1,000 trees, whatsoever the number. This concept, if it is taken in the all parts of state, this will be a boon to the farmers where they can get some loan through their plantation itself before the harvest. After the harvest, they can definitely pay them with the amount of trees they are able to cultivate or something. The tree banking concept is one of the hit concept in Kerala that surely comes in all the parts or all the states very soon. I believe in that context, if you're looking in the timber business, India will have the bright timber future, no doubt about it. And I request viewers to take these plantations for a betterment of their family or farming life and activities. You can take it in the bunds, you can take it in the wastelands, you can take it somewhere in the hilltop kind of situations, but make sure you can provide little water at least for 5 to 8 years so that you get a good girth of the timber. Now I request viewers to take up some questions regarding that. We can discuss and we can end the session.
Thank you, Mr. Nitin Goudar. I now request the participants to ask their question. We'll also be posting the speaker's contact details in the chat window. Now over to the participants for questions. Those who are interested, please put on your mic. Yeah, the first question could be from Mr. Venkat. Yes, Mr. Venkat.
Sir, you are talking about 20 feet by 20 feet this thing, spacing.
Yes. Yeah.
Instead, if you go for 10 by 10, and after 5 years, can we remove alternate rows so that we will have some income also? Plus, it will ensure vertical growth. Actually, branches will be minimized.
Yeah, you can ensure the vertical growth, sir, but I told you the minimum harvesting size of the teak is 40 centimeter. Less than that, we can't harvest in Karnataka. At least I don't know about other states, but in Karnataka we have a grades that is A, B, C, D. T grade itself is 40 centimeter. If at all our plantation don't achieve 40 centimeter, with permission or without permission, we are not able to harvest them. Though it is in the
Okay.
private land, we can't harvest them to get any commercial value. It is considered a firewood, and firewood has no value compared to the any conventional market. So I request you can cultivate something for 5 years. As I told, you can do some intercropping, and we can make some money out of it for 5 years. Same thing we are planning about after 5 years. We are cutting the same teak. Instead of that, cultivate some ginger, turmeric, or potatoes, anything which grows below the soil, and make some revenue.
How to control the branching, sir? If more spacing is provided, branching comes.
No,
Lots of
sir.
branches.
Branching can be controlled with the selection of the seeds or the seedlings. That's all I can say, because as you know, tissue culture seedlings has a less branching compared to the normal seed source seedlings. So I request you to take up with the tissue culture seedlings for getting the better results or get the optimum growth.
What are the rates, sir, for tissue?
Tissue culture rate varies from 120 rupees to up to 700 rupees. Different companies have a different target and different pricing. And in Karnataka, we have Mother Biotech. They are charging somewhere around 300 rupees per seedling.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Venkat. Next question is from Mr. Sudhiranjan Mandal.
Good evening, Mr. Nitin.
Good evening, sir.
It was a very nice, informative talk. I had this question. Of course, some between we got cut, so I'm not sure whether it has been addressed. This issue has been addressed. What are the kind of fertilizers, if any, which is to be applied to the soil for a good growth?
Fertilizer, we have to keep high nitrogen for the soil, sir. It is not like just keeping, when I mean nitrogen, we have to get it from the NPK, that is a packed synthetic fertilizers. You can go with the cow manure, you can go with the poultry waste, you can go with the organic thing, but just ensure the soil. That's what in the beginning I told. Soil health is must and should. So when when you are focusing on any plantation, make sure it has good nitrogen amount in the soil. Be taking any plantation, irrespective of tea, just ensure you have good nitrogen. That will indicate the growth of the seedlings.
Okay.
Mr. Sudhiranjan, you got any more questions? All right. Now, next question. Can I ask other participants? Any questions, please?
Yes,
Dr. Gururajacha. Yes, Dr.
Yeah.
Gururajacha.
Thank you, Lakshmipati. Mr. Nitin, it
Welcome.
is a very informative lecture you gave.
Huh.
I have a teak plantation around my farm, all along the border of my farm.
Okay.
They are more than
Yes, sir.
25 years. Now I don't know how to harvest. When we say you harvest, are we going to cut the trunk halfway or midway or some feet above the ground level, or are we going to uproot the whole plant? And what is the way to harvest it? And as you know, the girth is not the same all through the height of the plant. So
Yeah.
what is the
Tapering.
it is
Yeah, sir.
tapering.
You can just tapering. For tapering, you can just Google the Quatergor formula. You can go with the Quatergor formula and calculate the CFT or cubic feet amount of timber in the standing logs right now. But when it comes to harvesting, we have to ensure 10 centimeter from the soil or the ground, and we have to harvest. But you don't need to harvest, sir. You have to just submit your form for the forest department. They will give some connections or some contacts who comes to your farm and gives an estimation of the value of the timbers, and those people will harvest it on them behalf of your end. And permission generally takes about 45 to 2 months to 3 months.
Okay. You are talking about some 5,000, 8,000, 12,000. Is it per cubic feet?
5,000. Yes, sir. Cubic
Per
feet.
cubic. So how is it calculated? Like cubic feet?
Sir, depends on the plants of the tree. Development of the tree, sir. Make sure the bole, I mean the trunk or a branch is completely clear, because if there is any knots or any defects in the timber, then the calculation will definitely change. Okay, so I request you to at least give me hint how straight they are or how tall I can get the tree
They
of
are
each.
about more than 30 feet height.
No, sir. Not I'm not talking about the complete height, sir. Trunk height I'm talking about.
Trunk height. Trunk goes
Ah,
as above the
no, sir.
ground level.
Where
It's
trunk
branching.
height in the sense where the first branch begins from the soil, first branch.
Oh, I see. That is called the trunk height, is it?
That is
Okay.
the only clear ball where that has a commercial value of 5,000 or 9,000, which I'm talking. Rest will have the
Yeah.
B grade wood, then comes a C grade.
Yeah. What happens to the tree above the branches? Above the first branch.
It has the price of that branch will be lesser. For example, it might go somewhere around 2,500. Some will go about 800 rupees also. Depends on the grain pattern and the hardwood formation.
Okay. How far above the ground level you have to cut the tree?
From the ground
How
level,
far?
10 centimeter is fine.
10 centimeter of the tree you have to leave over under the ground. Then is it going to regenerate again?
Yes, sir. But we don't recommend regenerating in teaks at least.
So it will remain as a
No,
dead.
it will get copies, sir. Copies means they'll get new shoots, but we don't recommend those shoots because the new shoot will have a less girth compared to the mother plant.
Okay, what is the fate of that then? Just leave it like that?
Sir, you can just leave it like that, or we can just apply chlorophorifos soon after the harvest. It will over the 3-4 months it will decay, sir.
Is it mandatory to take permission from the forest department, or
Yes,
somebody
sir.
was telling that now the rules have changed that any owner of the land can cut his teak plants at his own discretion?
No, some rules will change over the states, sir. For example, any exotic trees are not having any permission. For example, teak is a native for Karnataka, for example, and we require a permission. The same teak, if you are cultivating in Orissa, we don't need a permission there
Telangana,
to
how
harvest
about
it.
Telangana? Hyderabad,
Telangana might
Telangana.
be in Hyderabad, Telangana. Southern states require permission. That's for sure. Northeast and northern parts don't require a lot of permission, but southern states requires all the permission because most of the smuggling of the teak happens in southern India itself.
Thank you very much. These are nice clarifications.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you,
much.
sir. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Next question. Mr. Venkat, back again. Your mic is on. You want to
Yes,
ask
sir.
anything more? Yes.
Sir, the ground gets contaminated with tectona, you said. That means how to reclaim the land?
Tectona, you have to make sure the after the harvest of the timbers, okay, you have to grow some legumes. Though the growth of the legumes will be completely trash, I mean, there will be no positive results. It takes at least of 5 to 6 good rains, where initial rains will have high nitrogen. As I told, atmospheric nitrogen will be accumulated in the soil. That is the phase where you have to broadcast your legume seeds. And once
Okay.
legumes are germinated, just make sure you plow them thoroughly. Okay, like a deep, we get a deep plower that is 2.5 feet top the soil should be plowed thoroughly once or twice. After that, you can go with another plantation or any conventional farming.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Ms. Jenny. Mr. Jenny's
Hello.
turn now to ask question. Yes, Ms. Jenny.
So I enjoyed the conversation just now. I enjoyed the talk on teakwood. I just have a little questions to ask. One, I just want to know whether it is attracting any taxes, because last time something like arecanut has attracted tax and somebody got caught for growing those trees. So I just want to know whether teak is attracting any taxes. Government of India tax.
After the harvest of any timber, there is a tax, ma'am, if it is regulated by the government norms. If it is exotic species, for example, casuarina and nilgiris, what we say eucalyptus, those don't have any taxes. But definitely teak, sandalwood, rosewood, which are having commercial value, high commercial value, will have the taxes of about 12%. Okay, that will be deducted from the forest department at the time of harvesting.
At the time of harvesting. Okay, so we need to take permission from the forest department for harvesting the tree, harvesting the
Yes, ma'am.
branches.
And they give it in their website, that is KFT website, Karnataka Forest Department website, where buyers will apply for that. Like it is a kind of a online auction, and whichever buyer will give the higher price, will agree with those buyers, and all the amount will be transferred to the forest department. Once harvesting is done, and once they get NOC and permit, state permit, that is when they'll cut the 12% and transfer the rest amount. It takes at least of 6 months of time to do these all paperwork.
Okay. And sir, what about how much care do you have to take for these trees? Like, do they need constant care, or like, I've got very old trees and I don't bother. I mean, we don't do anything about it now. So I just wanted to know whether we have.
I told you, just you have to monitor them with respect to the defoliate, with respect to the tree crusting. Make sure the leaf are healthy when you are in the rainy season. Even in the rainy season, if the leaf are brownish or yellowish, then definitely the trees or plants are suffering from the serious issue with respect to disease and all. That is where you have to just ensure them with the good nutrients and give them good support. If there is a healthy trees, they will have their own resistance. Only trees get disease when they are very weak from inside.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Jenny, for asking that question. And then I want to know whether Mr. Siddhappa has got any question. Mr. Siddhappa.
No, sir, thank you.
Yes, Mr. Siddhappa. Go ahead. I'll get back to you, Mr.
No, sir, thank you. I joined a little bit late, sir. Thank you, sir. No, I don't have it. Thank you.
So Sujiranjan has got another question, looks like. Yes, Mr. Sujiranjan.
Sir, Nitin sir, sorry, again I'm asking regarding this disease. Tissue culture, teak should not be having any diseases. No, that is why it is tissue culture is touted very much.
Sir, when it comes to disease, they are like disease resistance, not disease free plants. Anything which is like we term as a resistance, it can just retain for some time. Even with the vaccination after COVID, we can get COVID, but the severity will be very less. Same thing happens with the tissue culture. They are not completely affected, like completely wash out or a dieback. Dieback is symptoms where plants start drying from the top. Those symptoms we are not able to see in the tissue culture. But there is a problem with the tissue culture is adaptation of the tissue culture teak is very less. Okay, you can't just go buy them and plant in your soil and you can expect good results. That's not going to happen. Out of 10 people, only 5 people will get good results from the tissue culture. Rest 5 people will definitely suffer with the tissue culture because they are developed in lab. They don't adapt to all the soils so quickly. It takes a lot of time.
So there is no universal method to see that whether it is adapting or not.
Nothing like that, sir. There is nothing like a universal thing. That is the lack of research. I told you, right? In the timber, there is a very less scope for research because the rotation period of the timber itself is 25 years. I have to monitor a tree for 25 years to get to complete research of that area. There will be black soil, there will be red soil, there is sandy soil, the person gives water or not. But the result I have of that research, I am going to get the result after 20 years or 15 years. In this period, there will be n number of farmers with different theories. So the research will be taking a lot of time to come up with a complete package of practice. This is how we have to do. We can't say it. Every year we can just improvise our plantation methods.
Okay, another question, sir. Regarding there's one around 20 years back, I think there was one craze for something called mangium plantations. Just touted as some Australian teak or something like that.
Yeah, Acacia mangium had a problem. Yes, sir. Acacia mangium was an excellent crop. It was known as a poor man's teak, actually. But the only problem was hard to drought. Heart rot, what we say, it is completely a pathogenic infection, which we can only see it after the harvest of the timber. Till then, or even when it is in the standing log, we can't get a single symptoms of the heart rot. Okay, heart rot is a very big problem in the acacia species, and that's the reason of the failure of the acacia mansium.
So even after harvest, it will not usable as timber. That's what you mean to say.
Yes, sir. If there is no hardwood, there is no value, even for a teak. If there is no good grain pattern, if there is no hardwood, then there is no value, irrespective of the growth. That is the reason I told you, first 10 to 12 years, only focus on the girth. That is the complete growth of the timber. After that, we have to focus on the stress phase. That is where we are going to ensure there is a good hardwood in your trees. Stress will induce the more hardwood formation.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Rupa, but do you have any question? Dr. Suresh Tagar, do you have any question? Ms. Sabrina John? Okay, no questions from others anymore. Now I think it's time to close. We have now completed the round of questions. I'd like to thank the speaker, Mr. Nitin Kumar Goudar, on behalf of Agriculture Information, for taking his time to speak with us. I now request the organizer of the meeting, Ms. Rajini Jain, to please close the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lakshmipati. I'd like to thank the speaker, Mr. Nitin Kumar Goudar, for taking the time to talk with us. I also like to thank all the participants for their time. The meeting will now be closed.